Realms, they call it. What a fine poetic name for something as rotten and twisted as our land has become. It was not always so. Long ago, the old empire, the noblest and most enduring society created by humankind, spanned almost the entire continent of Zerine, the cradle of man. But after several millennia of progress and incomparable achievements, inevitably, the empire began to fall into stagnation and decadence. Desperately holding on to their privileges and resisting change while trying to avert the collapse of the realm, the emperor and his theocracy took to measures that were worthy of true despots in cruelty. Subjugating weaker realms, enslaving whole nations, strip mining foreign resources, oppressing imperial citizens, war on several fronts, genocide. Eventually, the gods could no longer tolerate such horrors wrought in their name. Foretold by an abundance of divine omens, they descended upon the empire to right its wrongs. Thus, in a chain of dreadful events that became known as the Calamity, they annihilated the empire in a matter of days. The gods then finally saw what they had done in their anger and confusion. It is said that so much grief and shame filled them that they were broken and they left this reality, never to return. The continent and its inhabitants seemed dead, but at length survivors began to crawl out of their hiding holes and faced a land that no longer welcomed them. Arcane anomalies, the fallout of the Calamity, now riddled the continent, and people realized that they had to share their new home with changed and twisted creatures. Terrible beings entered through the cracks in the tapestry of reality and rose to rule over the natives. In time, these new powers rebuilt the fallen empire in their own image, and the Riven Realms, now godless and vengeful, reincarnated from the ashes. The inhabitants of the land, such as I, now eke out a living under the crushing rule of the new empire. The continent itself constantly resists our every attempt at building a cozy home for ourselves. As travel is dangerous, many ventures specialize in transferring cargo and passengers over bleak and deadly leagues of land. Others try to take everything of value from said travelers, or attempt to find buried treasures among the ruins of the old empire. The leaders of the endeavors are, some say, the bravest men and women of the Riven Realms. Such a leader is called a Vagrus.
Sorry, that was a really good intro. Hey, I'm No More Worlds. This is Vagrus, the Riven Realms. It's a game I've played quite a bit in the past. I haven't played it for several updates. I don't know if I have any of the DLC that came out for free DLC. Probably do. Can I get these? Well, we don't necessarily need them. There's a character and Seekers of Knowledge. I kind of assumed to be downloaded automatically being free, but they're not. I think there's a Porter's Pack and the soundtrack you can pay extra for. I would suggest that this game is a trading game. It's a game in which you trade. You would trade caravan. You can do all kinds of. You can do some military stuff. You can do some passenger stuff. So there's a lot of slavery. It's not a good world, and honestly, slaves are they tend to be the most economical way to do things. Free people want money with their food, which is outrageous, right? Like, how can you run a business without paying people? But we're gonna give it a try. There's two modes. This is the less challenging mode, dissonance mode. I think it gets rid of achievements and it gets rid of whatever that document is supposed to be. I don't know. And this is the wasteland mode, which is the save. It says save often, so you're expected to save scum a little bit. We could do wasteland mode. I've done dissonance mode a few times. I've done wasteland mode. I think this was added later on in the game cycle. It came out in early access, and then it's been in its 1.0 for at least a year now, I think, or maybe half a year. We'll do wasteland mode. We'll give it a try. Nothing beside remains round and decay of the colossal wreck, boundless and bare, the lone and level stand stretched far away from Osmandius by Percy. Is that his middle name? Bishi Shelley? I didn't know that. Percy Shelley is a Bishi.
Ah, yes. A Vagrus. What a profession. Daring and savvy, always watching the horizon, always looking for an opportunity, and of course, for what is best for his comitatus, eh? And you are a Vagrus too, are you not? Many of your kind have I seen in my long life as a vagabond. Care to listen to a story about your exquisite occupation, good master? It is a tale of woe and terror, but it is also a tale that is true, as I have seen it with mine own eyes.
So these two options right here, tell us your tale. This is if you want to play very structured story mission. It acts as a tutorial. It's interesting, but I've played it a few times in the past, and I probably don't want to go down it again. It's definitely much more structured. This is more free form, despite this being a very rude answer, and we'll be going with that.
Fair enough, good master. Fair enough. You don't want to hear tales of trusts betrayed and of bad decisions? It makes sense to me, with you also being a Vagrus and all that. Tell me, have you been long at it? And where do you come from? It is not often that I can talk to one of your kind.
And this will take us to our create a character faction caravan mode. So we can pick a race. I don't know if all these races were available earlier. These are the different houses. They have different reputations. These are perks. They'll come in later on. I literally don't know what this does. Let's pick ourselves a... These are the magic ones? No, these are more... I mean, everyone's a desert traveler. It's mostly deserts. People and skins are divided a lot. City dwellers typically support imperial rule, having adopted dusky skin and dark hair. They're more persuasive and savvy, so I guess more merchanty. They're also savvy, but they have religion. The Daj Mahan have much more survival and toughness, and they also have a jade figurine item, which I think is good for just selling. This is something that attaches to your beast of burden. And it helps out a lot, actually. Jesus Christ. We might take this just for this. Getting equipment on your beast of burden helps out your caravan a lot. You really, as you travel, want to reduce the amount they eat, the amount they need to be paid, and how quickly you move. That's going to be incredibly important in this game. And the Kalani, I think these are the mage users. And there's a big field of crystals you can go to later on. And if you have the right perks, you can cast spells of some sort. It's magic, but it's very arcane, very Byzantine form of magic. You can be a dwarf. Tough perk, evaluate perk. It's good for negotiating. You get a dwarven gadget. It's another sellable item, so it's not that useful. You can be a half-elf. Used in characters' dexterity and agility, used in events and companion progression. No direct... You don't fight directly, if I remember correctly. I don't know if they changed that. But your companions will fight. And you have like companions you can give different positions to in the caravan itself. I don't really want to be a half-elf. I mean, I do in real life want to be a half-elf. I desperately do, but in this game, not so much. Perceptive's not bad, though. Orc. That's very loud, I'm sorry. Orc, mighty perk, more character events, and you get a Terror Totem, which I think you can put in your caravan, and it will help with terrifying and intimidation, which are good for sort of negotiating a little bit with bandits or that sort of thing. But it's also good for keeping your slaves in line, which are not words I like saying often, but it's necessary here, right? It's necessary. And then we have Dark Elf. Scroll down. Perceptive, dexterous, both characters things. So far, the humans have much more when it comes to doing caravan stuff that I like more. However, potent poison gear. Very strong poison in a jar. This could be applied to weapons. That might be very useful. And then one torch as a device. And this is actually good for intimidation. Dark Elf, pretty good. And then Demonkin. Intimidation. We get some lore perks, which will help us figuring things out. I mean, definitely want intimidation. We can get intimidation anyways, and I kind of want this extra bit. The awning, honestly, is really good. I think we can buy one, though. You know, a nice Dark Elf slave owner. I feel like that works. I don't know what these dials do at the top. I thought you can change between male and female. Just grayed out portraits. That's fine. We'll go with Dark Elf for now. And then we want to pick our background. And there's a few backgrounds here. You can't be a healer, a laborer, savage, or scholar for the selected race. That's fine. Slaver is what I want to be. It gives us a huge bit of reputation with the House Darius. It gives us slave equipment, which will generate obedience with the slaves. It gives us 3 extra slaves to start with, which is great. They function the same as workers. They have no upkeep and less consumption. You get to feed them less, which is, it's useful. The one downside to slaves, because they can carry a lot, is they don't really fight or defend the caravan as well, which is understandable. They want to flee, and that's their right. But my right as an evil Dark Elf is to discipline them harshly. So I think we'll start as a slaver. I mean, these other backgrounds give us some reputation. We know how to lie better, which is useful for trading, but just having the ability to transport goods cheaply is always nice. And slave trading is also, I don't like saying it, but it's fun. This is our calling. We want to be a trader. That's just how it works. You can be a mercenary. This is much more difficult because it will start you off in much more of a fighter's stance. I would not say I'm an experienced player. You're going to do much more bounty hunting missions, combat missions. Combat's strange in this game, and you'll see it in a bit. Explorer, that's another thing you'll do more exploring. We want to be a trader. Although do explorers get further... You want to really be able to have move points, and these are extra action points you can use to use abilities, which will allow you to move further depending on the ability, that sort of thing. What are we looking for? We do not have Seekers of Knowledge DLC, so we don't give a crap about knowledge. You can only win the game if you change your ambition later on through options in the story. If you do so now, you'll have to achieve the goal no later 10 in-game years from the game's start. We want wealth. We have 10 in-game years to achieve the goal, which is just amass a great amount of wealth. I don't know what that number is. I could say I've achieved it if I get some, right? I don't intend to win this. It's fine. Let's go into the perks. So this is resourcefulness. This is what this is up here. Authority is... authority dictates how many assigned deputies you can have. So yeah, these are given different positions. And I think it uses this pool right here. So I don't know if we need this right away. What we want is definitely traverse. We can use resourcefulness to turn into march points, and we can just march further on the map. That's going to be very good. Inspire. These are just leadership abilities. Evaluate and intimidation, that's good. Navigation, I think, is a good one because it lets us move faster. There's one here that will allow us to move faster. Okay, that's just scouting base chance. Arcane's not bad. Beast isn't bad. We have poison, so I think we should take some alchemy. That's just useful. Persuasion, prospecting, skulker, and survival. This gives us better foraging, which we need to do time to time to, gather up resources. I think we might want to get some points in... I don't know why that's popping up off screen. They're all popping off screen. We probably want savvy. Or charismatic. Probably charismatic, just to help us a little bit with trade. If we do it another point up, it drops by 2. So I think just 1 will be fine for now. Get another point of intimidation. Increase our discipline of our workforce. That's good. Evaluate was give us better negotiation skill. That's really useful. And then not enough points to add more to this. That's fine. Courage, enhance, command, boost. And some of these can be used in combat. When you get in the turn-based phase, you get 2 rows, 2 columns to put your companions into, opposite the enemy companions, or beasts, or whoever you're going to fight. I mean, what am I going to pick? Herb lore isn't too bad, if I remember correctly. It does help foraging. Healer, help with healing injuries. You'll get those from time to time, especially in this game. Combat's very difficult. Con would be really good. Get more intimidation. Well, we're very intimidating, and then we can get 1 point any of these. We'll just get in savvy. And I think that should be fine. We're a very skilled slave trader. All right, we'll confirm the choice here, and then we can choose our portrait. There we go, male, female, or non-binary, which is excellent. Okay, yeah, so, this is any gender. We're going to be Magalin Nargoth. That's a great Dark Elf name. These pictures are all kind of androgynous. I like this one. This is like an anime villain. All right, I think this should be good, and we can start up the game.
Curious, curious. I am humbled to have made your acquaintance, good master. I'm sure that many great adventures await you on your journeys. It was an honor talking to you, good master, but these old bones are aching, and I must rest now. Oh, yes. Perhaps we will talk in the morning. Perhaps we will. May the gods guard your sleep.
All right, mysterious vagabond. Sleep slowly but steadily begins to overwhelm you. Late hour, the exhausting journey. With the mesmerizing voice of the old man, he's a good voice actor. You faintly recall stumbling to your tent, crawling inside, and then it is only darkness. I'm vaping at the same time as this. That's why I'm out of breath. I'm sorry. I thought I had a chance. I'm winded. You don't get a chance to vape much in the desert. Morning creeps up quietly on the arid wasteland. You wake up and step out of your tent into the crisp air, yawning, stretching, and blinking in the orange light of the rising sun. The fiery orb's rays are welcome, in stark contrast to how you will feel in a few hours. Your crew, groggy still after an early start, shambles around the camp, busy with their chores. Some of them are still huddled around their dying fires. You look at the horizon to the north and find it empty against the morning haze. Yet you know that beyond the jagged line of the way station of Kurnak awaits. A short stop on your way to the proper city. Less than a week of trudging through the plains and you reach Tor Zag's shelter. You hope to rest there and find much-needed work. In fact, this was the reason you took the Comitas north to Terra Supra, the lands beyond. New opportunities. The previous Vagrus of this traveling company perished several weeks ago, and even though you worked for her only for a few months, and are indeed quite new to this wandering business, the crew elected you to take her place because she trusted your abilities. Mornin' Vagrus. I'm not going to say that right, I'm sorry. Vagrus. One of your guards walks up to you and draws you out of your reverie. The old geezer you talked to last night is about to leave and wanted to say goodbye before he does. You nod and head to the campfires. You find the old storyteller in the process of packing his meager equipment while whistling a tune. Let's talk to the old man. You clear your throat discreetly. Thank you for coming, good master, the old man says, still fiddling with his sling bag. I will not go to Tor Zag's shelter with you. My path leads elsewhere. I am grateful to you for letting me travel with your Comitas. Ah, yes, and I hope I've earned my keep. Because he has no coin nor anything of value when you came across him in the middle of nowhere 3 days ago, you allowed the old man to travel with you and eat from your stores in exchange for entertaining your crew with stories along the way. And true enough, no hour has passed since without a tale being recited by the strange fellow. He even made an effort to entertain while you were sitting at your campfire late at night. Be that as it may, you allowed him to tag along as an act of kindness. That doesn't sound like me. The man turns to you and smiles innocently. I may be able to repay you more properly by giving you some advice, eh? If you don't mind me saying, good master, you are only starting your venture as a Vagrus, and perhaps you could use such wisdom. Yeah, let's listen to his advice. All right. First off, there are a lot of rumors going around in a city as great as grim Torzog, but even in smaller settlements too. Listen to these, for there's often truth to such tales, and gossips can guide you to business opportunities, valuables, or interesting places. Often, fresh news is the most valuable commodity you can possess, especially until you have a sizable cargo hold to haul large amounts of goods across the wasteland. If I were you, I'd find some work as soon as possible, preferably something your crew can manage without much difficulty. Perhaps from one of the trading houses? You could also find passengers who are willing to pay for the security your comatose provides, yes? Almost every Manzios are great inns in towns and cities built to house comatai and other groups of travelers. They're just inns, but big ones. Stables for beasts of burdens, places where the slaves can be quartered and whipped, I guess. I guess you can get slaves there as well. That's excellent. This should be a feature. I mean, this is in several games I've played recently, but this is the greatest feature that's ever existed in games, the ability to have a little encyclopedia pop up. I prefer it if it pops up in the screen itself instead of going to a separate encyclopedia, but that's fine. Almost every Mancio has folk looking for traveling companions. The old man scratches his scraggly beard thoughtfully. Before setting out, it is best to decide what your destination will be and prepare accordingly. Wandering around aimlessly in the wastelands is a good way to get killed or to starve, good master. Yet, one's chances are better when the burden can be shared with trusted companions. I'd start looking for such folk as soon as I'm in a big city. There is a man I know in Torzog, now that I think about it, who could help you with such matters. I'm listening. The chap is called Braxius. Strange fellow, really. Not only because of his peculiar lineage. You'll see, he runs a shop. Ah, yes, he'll buy any trinket off you that you do not need any longer. He might sell you something useful, too. Who knows? I'm just remembering now he once sold a Gavranian wood talisman to an orc mercenary who... The old man stops abruptly when he notices the expression on your face. He smiles apologetically. Where was I, good master? Ask him about this man. Ah, yes, Braxius' shop, just east off the Calrish Market, in a small street that has a dark stone statue of Mercatus over a fountain. Best of luck. Inrafons be with you, good master. I'd better go. Yeah, I thank him. I'm not going to be rude. You watch the old man as he walks away, alone into the wasteland. It is time to set out. Torzog shelter is waiting, but before that, it would behoove you to visit Kernok Way Station, only a day's travel to the north. You could obtain a much-needed supplies and news there. Maybe even find work. Who knows? And it's time to set off our comatose. And also end. There we go. All right, this is what the map proper looks like. I think these grids tell you, like, length of distance in terms of action points. Here's our max movement. We can also go into a forced march mode, rather. We have 3 resourcefulness. I don't know if we can do the extra march necessary. We are currently well rested, and we're well fed. 7-7. This is how much cargo we have, how much cargo space. This is our combat strength in case we get attacked, and this is our defensive power of our crew if we're struck by ambush. This is kind of crappy. This is how much food we have to last, and this is our money. We have 15 brass, which is not brass, it's silver, 8 lurg, and 2 changers, and 1 brass is 8 of these, and 2 of these. No, 1 is 10 of these, yeah. So 10 of these is 1 of this, and 10 of this is 1 of this. Okay, that's pretty simple. All right, we can acquire supply. Where are we? We're at the Karnak Way Station. No, it's up here. We want to get to the way station. There are a few menus we can go to. Guarding your camp effectively puts a strain on your guards. We should take a look at our... I wish I remembered how to open up. All right, this is our character sheet. That's fine. Where do we look at our Here we go. This is what our Comitas looks like right now. We have 11 slaves. I think it's a foot with a chain on it. We have 5 workers. They're costing us money. 2 scouts. They're useful for sending out, for foraging as well. The workers can help with that, and the slaves can help with that. 7 fighters, and then outriders, and 2 mounts, and then 1 beast of burden. You can put workers, or you put fighters on mounts and make them outriders. Or you can put scouts on there. Yeah, 1 fighter and 1 mount will make an outrider, and they're useful for going out further. If you look down here, you can see how much everyone's worth in terms of like abilities. The fighters are the only ones who give us real defensiveness. This is grayed out, but I guess the beast of burden can help, and the mounts can help with that as well. Scouts are not really worth much defensiveness. Slaves kind of are, but they probably won't help. This is how much they're going to eat. Workers, as you can see, consume double the amount there are, and slaves consume exactly 1 to the amount they are. In fact, most people consume double the amount. So we might just fire all our workers when we get to these slave holds. If we need to, we have discipline. This is obedience, how much these slaves are compliant, and we want to keep them that way because that makes them work better. And also we have less issues later on. At times when we camp, we're going to have to pay everyone. And I think how much they cost is listed here. So these guys are costing us, workers are costing us 5, so 1 per. Scouts are costing us 2 per. And that was a 10 green, 14, so 7. 2 per, I guess. This is the cargo we currently have. These are our supplies, which are just food, and this is some luxury wine we should be able to sell somewhere. Slave cage is attached to our beast of burden. Better obedience chance if we need to perhaps crack the whip, execute, crucify. I'm not saying it's okay, I'm just saying we can do that. No companions at the moment. And once we get companions, we can assign deputies. We only have room for 1 because we didn't add that at the beginning of the game. That's fine. We don't need deputies right now. It's not wholly necessary. Let's see. What does the Spellweaver do? Protect the Commodas or spy for us? That's useful. Slave drivers, who I absolutely want, but also a Scoutmaster. That's really great. Guard Captain will help us out a lot. We'll worry about that later. Let's get to Karak Way Station. We're going to travel there. It's going to cost us 6 movement points. We got to remember to camp after this so we can get our movement points back, because I've done this many times while playing this game, as I've left a city, never rested, only had 2 movement points. It's just kind of a waste. We made 1 insight award for discovering Karnak Way Station. Alright, let's enter the city. The Commandant descends into the great basin that shelters the Karnak Way Station from the worst of the jagged waste, dust, and rock storms. Even at this distance from the walled compound, you can see that the outpost is vastly overcrowded. Dozens of Komatai and literally hundreds of travelers swarm the confines of Karnak Station, which is now surrounded by makeshift camps and improvised mancios. What is going on here? You arrive at the gate. A pair of gruff-looking mercenaries walk out to meet you and give you a half-hearted hail. The first one to speak is a tall, lean, tainted fellow armed with a barbed spear. Gotta say, you folks just keep popping up like wraiths around a rotting corpse, he sighs heavily. Alright, move your arse over there and try to settle in without a fuss. He points to a large area outside of a low stone wall just northeast of the way station itself. We'll comply quietly. You nod to the mercenary and lead the Comitas to the designated spot. The crew strikes camp and everyone is settled in after a quarter of an hour. Time to explore. So these are the different areas. Guarded compound. Travelers gather here to rest before leaving Karnak. The whole compound is crowded with people, travelers, Comitas crews, vagrants, mercenaries, warbands, trading house agents, smugglers, prostitutes, thieves, and of course, beggars. The largest stone building housing the tavern is filled to the brim with customers, so much so that you cannot get inside for a drink. Luckily, they have had the sense to set up a bar outside too, and the kitchens try to serve as many of the clientele as possible. Should you be into jokra meat steaks or fried horv larvae, That is, the noise and the stench of sweat and booze makes you feel like you're in a war camp. Asking around, you hear several organizations looking for transportation of good and personnel. This is a good way to raise spirits amongst the Kamatas. We're going to talk and look for any goods or passengers. A quick survey of the options reveals several factions are willing to pay for hauling their cargo and taking some people to Torzog's shelter to the north. There are the agents of the trading house trying to cut losses, as well as a bunch of shady fellows, probably smugglers, who promise that you will not regret taking them and their stuff to the great city. Another group, some pilgrims who wanted to reach a shrine in the south, now wish to turn back towards the shelter. Last but not least, there's the company of foreign merchants from the Dragonlands looking for a new market. Whoever you choose, you will not be able to strike a deal with another group, and you will have to make sure that the goods and passengers arrive to the destination safe and sound. Normally when you play this game and you try to accept a group of passengers or a cargo group, it will tell you how much it pays. I would actually very much like to, what do you guys pay? Deal is struck quickly. Okay, we're going to take these dragon guys. Deal is struck quickly. The 3 trade agents of the Scythians Covenant want you to take them, along with their bodyguards and sizable cargo of salt, toward Torzog's shelter. As per the agreement, you have to travel to the city without unnecessary delay, and they will add their remaining supplies to your stores when you arrive. You will be handsomely compensated when you reach the shelter's gates. You will load the goods upon leaving Karnak. Make sure you have 2 empty cargo slots for their goods. Alright, that's important. The whole compound is crowded with people, travelers, Kamatas crews, vagrants, mercenary bands, trading house agents, smugglers, prostitutes. Okay, you can leave this compound for now. I actually want to see their market real quickly. So, from what I remember, this first station, the Karnak Way Station, has a lot of cheap goods because there's a toll road or a blockade that's preventing people from moving stuff. All right, we have exactly 2. How much does this sell for? What does luxury wine sell for? Just looking for wine. This is wine. I have luxury wine. So there's goods that be bought here really cheap, and I kind of want to get them. It's not in demand here, so that's fine. Now I can cut my supplies. That would be incredibly stupid. They stack only to 250. I wonder if there's any equipment I can get to expand how much I can carry. There's guard animals. Honestly, guard animals might be good. They're a bit expensive, but they'll help guard the camp. And I think I can fit them into one of these slots. The slot is locked. I can only unlock for guard animals if I get a deputy. That's very interesting. All right, our storage capacity is terrible, but I think we can increase storage capacity if we go to the Mancio, which should be here. Yep. So we can buy 2 slaves. And that should increase our carrying capacity. Maybe enough to get another slot? Probably not. Let's see what they have for beasts. They have horses, which will increase our storage by 7. What does this increase by? So I have 5 at 117. Does my cargo hold open up every 20? I'm very curious about that. I should have paid attention to how much money I had. Let's see. So if I want to get rid of my workers, but if I hire 2 more workers, kind of assumed this would increase my cargo hold, but I guess not. If I hire 1 more horse, I can hire reptiles. I think reptiles are, there's none here. I think reptiles are worth a considerable amount. Oh my god, this is expensive, but they will increase my carry capacity. If I buy 1 horse, it goes to 124. It does, it increases my cargo 1 more section. So I can buy something cheap here and maybe make some money back because I've just spent a considerable amount. We have 7 days worth of food. But to keep that in mind, what is really cheap? and looks quite expensive. These cerulean crystals seem to be pretty cheap. Supplies are incredibly cheap here. Bone, I don't think that's worth it. I wonder if there's a trade. There's usually a trader, trade news. All right, we got some trade news from that. These are rumors, trade routes blocked. Maybe this will be an opportunity. We'll buy that. We can get some. This is how much food they're going to need to buy. Travelers turn back from the south and they want to go to Torzog Shelter. We already want to go there, so we should take these guys. Kind of poorly defended, that's fine. So we have 3 spaces, we only need 2. What would be worth it to us to buy here? What is ridiculous? The dyes seem pretty cheap to me. Flavo crystals, maybe? I don't know trade news is the problem. Is there a price history button? Price history. I don't know. I don't know enough about rumors yet. Mushroom beer is very cheap, and I think that will sell for a good amount. So how many? Let me just buy a bunch. I don't know how much a stack is the problem, and I still need 2 left. That's 20. 7 days worth of food still. All right, we don't need that much. It's 25. I think I wasted some money there, but that's fine. All right, we want to rest. Rations, everyone can be at 100%. We can pay now, that's fine. We can do odd jobs with our slaves and our workers if we want to make some extra money, but we're not going to do that, right? We're just going to end the day resting right here. Make sure to pay now. Offer your crew a bonus. We're not going to do that, for the love of God, no. So, end day. Vagrus is a different game of right of ways. One of the most common mistakes you can make is expand too fast initially, since nothing warns you of the hidden economical consequences. Instead, focus on faction trade tasks. Right, don't expand too quickly. You definitely need food. We're gonna have to buy some more of that right now. You can just stack it up like this if we need to. And this is very cheap, so that's fine. And then we can leave. We still have 2 spaces free, right? 2 spaces free for this little quest we have, and we're going to have some extra passengers with us. Now, I didn't check, and this was stupid, how much food we're going to need to get to our to get to where we need to go. But we're load up the cargo and the passengers. We get 16 salt. The Sithicness traders joined us. After your crew loads the cargo, your new commerce take their places along the line and on the carts. They remind you that going anywhere other than Torzog Shelter renders your agreement null and void. All right, so we're going to Torzog Shelter right away. Thankfully, let us waste. Okay, so Torzog Shelter is... I think it's just north along this road, but I don't remember how to see that. There's going to be 7 movement points. We want to stay on the road. It's the quickest path. Generally, there may be toll takers on the road, so we have to be wary of that, but it's also the safest. I'm just going to camp here for now. Hasn't been a day yet. It's been a day. All right. I think it's just up here. I can't remember how the hell to zoom more. And I don't know if I have that ability. There might be a general larger map. Is it under chart? Yeah, here we go. So this is where we need to go. How far is this? 3 to 5 days travel, so we should have just enough food. We'll camp. Nutrition is sustained. We're gonna half. Oh god damn. Pay now, that's fine. We're going to half the amount of food we're gonna have. Do we want anyone to acquire supplies? Alright, there's a bad chance. Somewhat good chance. Good chance. Bad chance. Okay, there's no point in making everyone do this. We're going to post guards. We don't have a very good armed crew at the moment. End day here. Nothing terrible seemed to have happened to us. That's fine. Still submissive, steady, and sustained, and everyone's well rested. That's good. Let's move. Still have 5 days food. That's good. One to 2 days of travel. Okay, we should be fine, and I think we'll feed everyone normal. 100%. I'm going to lock this so we just pay everyone now. We're posting guards. I don't want obedience to go down too much. All right, submissiveness is fine. We're still steady on morale. Still fresh and sustained. Nothing too bad. All right, let's head as far as we can. Thank God we can use all 8 movement points. We'll camp again. I think we can force march. That will ruin morale, and I'm not going to force march unless we're right next to the place. Pay now, that's fine. Everyone's sustained. End day. 3 days left of food. Let's keep moving. And look, there it is. Torzog shelter. And we'll camp again. Pay now. Run food, and into the city we go. The Comitas is in sight of a nearby settlement, eager to get some well-deserved rest. But what did the people who you took on Carrick Station say about all this? They seemed happy to reach their destination. Excellent. The great Blackblood mountain towers ahead, crowned with black fortresses and jagged battlements. The single immense wall that blocks entry into the bowels of the mountain looms ahead. Your passengers are making ready to depart, but first they check their cargo. Everything's intact. The cargo is in order. The cargo is in order. Your passengers quickly unload it. After giving you their remaining supplies, the one in charge hands you the agreed-upon fee for your service and turns to you before leaving. The Scythian, these guys shall remember you as a friend, Vagrus. So we lose the 16 salt that was there. We gain 150 supplies, which is excellent. We gain Covenant reputation from them. We gain good money, I guess. It's like 2 silver plus 6 of this. This is Learg, right? This is Bros, this is Learg. This is Changers. Okay. The passengers are gone, as is their cargo, and this will surely enter the Torzog shelter on their own. As for you, the Dark City awaits. And my other people in my Comitas should go in there, right? I had some other people I just took on. I don't see them. They must have left as well, right? Enter the city. You've reached the fortified gates of the great city. After waiting your turn in line of chatting travelers, bleeding beasts of burden, swearing loaders and exhausted slaves, decrepit pilgrims, and fellow Vagri, you are greeted gruffly by guards under the shadow of the gatehouse. Approach the guards. An inspection follows. You have nothing to hide, or at least there is no way they can find it. We don't have anything to hide. After getting through the inspection, you are told now that you have to pay the gate tax. I'll pay the gate tax. Three of these, that's fine. You head into the Manzio. Make sure to rest. Oh, here's the travelers. Yes, they paid us 8 of the Bros. No, they paid us 8 Learg and 1 Changer. 21% tip because we got there quickly. You always tip your Vagrus, and your Comitai. Alright, so when you go inside a place like this, you always want to rest at some point, because if you leave the city without movement points, you're going to have to go back in and rest again. This is the safest place to rest. We can go to the market right now, and we can see how much we can sell this wine for. Luxury wine sells for a good amount. We can keep carrying it around, but I don't know prices. If we go to price history up here, we can see how much it sells for compared to where we just were. So you do want to do some traveling. You want to know pricing. Luxury wine, way more sellable here than it was elsewhere. You couldn't even sell it in the other place. Mushroom beer sells for worse than what I bought it at. This is me being dumb, I guess. That's how much I bought it for. That's how much it sells for. There are places where mushroom beer will sell, so I'm not going to sell it here for a loss. That would be ridiculous. But we can see how much. I mean, honestly, we can go back to Kurnak and just pick up some more of that very cheap stuff. What was one? The cerulean crystals. Yeah, they would have been worth more. Copper may have been worth more. It's worth a hell of a lot more. Dried fruit was there. It's worth more. Basically, I seem to have picked up the one thing that wasn't worth more. I just trade in slaves. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is fire all my workers. If I'm able to. There's a fire button. Is this it? Yeah, there we go. Fire all my workers. And we're just going to buy another slave. In fact, we'll buy several slaves. Because they eat less. They don't require shoes, so that's a useful property. You know, they don't charge money. We're keeping slaves. We probably don't need this many. 18 will be fine for now. We don't want to expand too quickly. You can see how expensive beasts are. Quite expensive. Luxury wine sells for a lot, so we're just going to sell all the luxury wine, and you look up there. Bam, 23 of this silver. Huge. We'll keep the mushroom beer for now. We can see if anything sells well for back where we came from. What's cheap here but more expensive here? Not much. Really just the mushroom beer I bought, huh? Yep. Very much seems that way. I done goofed. Alright, so mushrooms. If we can find mushrooms here. They sell for a better price. Only a 3 difference, but that's not terrible. If you buy a lot of them. That is literally it, huh? I feel like I'm a fucking fool. Just a gosh darn fool over here, huh? Gosh darn. Wow, okay. We do want a reason to go back, if we're able to. Yep, it's just mushrooms. Alright, that's fine. But I think this is a good place to call it for now. I want to play more of this. There's a lot more quests. There's a quest in this city I think we should take where we can get ourselves a companion. It's a little gladiator match you can bet on. But you can get a general idea of how the game works. It is a trading simulator. There are other things to do, but trade and managing your caravan are the most important things. Food and supply are important, and planning out your route and making sure you have enough food to last for days. You can scavenge if you want to, but it's not always good to scavenge. You also always want to buy rumors and trade news. These things will always help you out. They'll give you little hints about what sells well where, what produces well. There are charts online if you want to look and optimize that way. I don't really plan to. Well, I've been No More Worlds. Thanks. You've joined me for Vagrus, the Riven Realms, and bye for now.